Hey there. We're gonna be putting on some chrome today. I want to get this hood to latch. Cassidy will be here tonight. So I want to fit chrome on the hood. I want to put the grill in. I want to make sure that I can put a latch in here and it's going to close properly. So that's what we're up to today. I see before I put this on, there's 2 bolts here, and that's for those braces that go back to the hood supports. So I may have to start with that. And here's the grill. This is a nice piece. So this is going to fit in here. And yes, it is going to take some finesse. That's why we're doing this. Wow. So I can show you, that side's sitting on the head of the bolt, which means it'll go in probably 5/16. This side is out by a little more than that, but actually it's way out in front. So, because it's tapered, right? So, once we get the other side in, that might fit good. So I'm going to have to get some wrenches, small wrenches, and start taking some things apart so that I can put some things together. At the same time, of course, we don't want to mess with that beautiful round support, etc., etc. I do have some parts, wrenches here. Let's see if I got the right ones. This 1/2 inch. So, the idea is when Cassidy shows up, I'll just turn her loose on body work. Well, I'll go over it with her and see what issues she might have with what she's looking at. 2 eyes are better than 1. And then we'll go from there, we'll make out a plan, but I'm presuming that she'll start on, say, this fender hood. Well, I'm maybe trying to finish off the exhaust. There's a few other things. I'm almost, okay, so I'm not quite ready for her, but the flight's booked. So, be picking her up tonight at the airport. Okay, now let's see how that fits now. These parts are in really nice shape. So we're gonna go in. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not so bad. Wow. I mean, it's not like they make it easy. It wasn't that critical. You see, we have to imagine this is a little difficult right now. Imagine once it's painted. So once this is painted, what I'm learning right now, this is important, is I don't think I'm going to have this on the car when I put the grill in. Because right now it's pretty tight. You have to look at, the fenders are tapered this way. So it's nicer to slide up from below so I don't scratch these front corners. And I don't want to scratch this stuff. Anyhow, it's pretty tight. So I think when the fenders, before they're bolted in place, I'll loosely assemble it here. Then I'll loosely assemble my grill. Then I'll put this in. This is the reason you do so much pre-assembly before you paint, before you sand the primer. Because I wouldn't have known that, and I haven't done one of these in a bit. So it requires a little different method. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So there's something that was really important to learn. Okay, I am Going to go find some pry bars and some. I might have the right size wrench for that. Because I gotta have the thing braced up properly to do the body work on it. Okay, save that for just a moment. Yes. So, ooh, that comes down. Yeah, that's a nice piece of chrome. And need some small wrenches. Okay. Right. Yeah, this chrome here is solid. Well, it's cast. It's not a tin cover. You'll find that with a lot of the old pieces, which is pretty cool. But it's not like you can hammer an issue out and sand and polish usually, because it's solid cast, and if you hammer on it, it would break. At least stainless, you can smooth it out, sand it, and polish it. Okay, so just for a test fit. The 55 do have a nice looking chrome. I can see I want that to be down quite a bit. The grille's got to go way down still to line up with the chrome on the hood. Yeah, it's quite a learning curve putting this chrome on. So if we get that in place, boy, that's not going to be easy. Yeah, there is no way with this fender bolted tight that I can see getting this grill in. Now there's going to be a bunch of Tri-5 guys out there laughing their butt off at me right now. So they all know this. I'm trying to think of the last time I worked on a 55. It would have been many, many years ago. Wow. Ways to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to unbolt this fender up top here, at least down here, and swing it out. Wow, that is a tight fit. Okay. Start loosening. So I worked late last night cutting brackets off of the Firebird's old old rear differential, and I have it ready to weld on. So the Camaro rear end is now in the Firebird. I'm looking for my polar bear mat to save on my knees. Where is it? Oh, pardon me. I forgot about the most important thing of the day. Oh yeah. I gotta feed honey. Honey, are you hungry? Do you want me to feed you? You're my only reason for living. Linda, oh, you're so cold and tired. And, oh, look at you bounce up and down. Now can I go back to work without listening to your disapproving stares? Okay. Where was I? Oh, yes. Okay, and I'm gonna have to loosen it up here because there's no way. I'm just gonna bend the fender out and down here. Enough. Yeah. So very carefully. Okay, is there any more? I don't think so. But it all fits pretty tight. Okay. It's gonna take some persuasion. Pardon me. Okay, I'm gonna see if that isn't any easier, but I have my doubts. I may have to take these bolts right out. Okay. You know, just trying to see if there isn't a better way to put this in. But it's sort of lends itself to going in. Yeah, I don't want to take that all apart. Okay, it's not painted, so. Oh, geez. So I gotta take the fender has to go in. I gotta put a fender on and the grill, and then the other fender. Is that really it? Yikes. Oh man. That is tough. I mean, you could take the chrome pieces off the grill, I guess, but then you've got to try to install those pieces afterwards, which may be the only way to do it. They have tiny little screws here. I'm afraid they're going to twist off if I go to undo them. So this should really be soaked in a penetrant. I'm starting to think that's the best way to install this once it's painted, so that you could potentially, you could set this metal backing piece, the mounting for the chrome. You can slip that in and have it bolted up and then put the chrome on. I think that's the only way I could see this working nicely once it's painted. And I'm gonna look that up somewhere and someone's gonna go, Blair, you moron. You should know it. And that's all right. Oh, okay, I see one more bolt. Okay, we're gonna fight with this some more. And it always takes 4 times as long once there's paint on the vehicle. Lyle likes to do his own assembly. He does a lot. So, body work is not, you know, here's one. It's a bit weird. I do get young people showing up quite interested in the trade, and that's always really cool. It's hard for me to advise someone to go into a trade. I mean, for me, the best part is working on old cars. To work on the newer vehicles that technicians have to work on, they got to know everything. Airbags is, you know, that's a course all on its freaking own, and then some. Welding different steels, aluminum, high carbon. There's so much to the new cars, and I don't know. It's a tough one to recommend to a young person, this trade. Working on old cars, totally recommend it. Yeah, that's cool. Can you make a living at it? Right now, one of the big questions about our future. How long do we get to have this much fun before we don't get to work on these cars anymore? So, that's a pretty negative statement I'm sort of alluding to. But I'm sure you can understand what I'm saying. No one knows where the future, the automobile is, where it's going. Okay, so we wouldn't want to do that little trick when it's painted, now would we? So, now, I'm gonna do it. Geez, this is tough. Because I want to test fit it. Ooh, this is a nice grill. I want to see what it looks like with the hood. But the hood, I got to put those braces in still. Let's see if I'm even close. Okay, it's close. So now the thing we're going to find out more about, once we get this all bolted together, do I have to bend the hood in or out? I mean, I want the sheet metal to line up, but what really matters is if the chrome is different thicknesses, I want the leading edge to line up. So then the hood may not line up at the front of the fender. But this front plane on the chrome, that's going to line up. And then you have to worry about the height, right? So there's a whole lot of different things we have to consider. So right now we're going to stop everything and we're going to go take out this metal brace. Okay. And then we're going to make sure the aluminum one fits in. Yeah, because that's the one we're going to be using in the long run. So I've got to take the new aluminum one. I've got to take out these bolts, but it's riveted up here. I don't know if you can see those rivets. But we got to grind out, drill out these rivets so the new aluminum support can go back into this hood. And the 2 bolts over here. And this is where these angled braces fit. Now I still don't know if they're going to fit over here. But we're going to find out all that real quick. So I'll come back here in a few minutes. Okay, now I got to take these 2 bolts out. This whole thing is going to come out at once. And then I can get rid of the rivets up on the top. You'll see once I get it out of here. been looking for a Model A coupe for a friend of mine from Idaho, David. David just finished a 66 Chevy, Malibu Chevelle. Anyhow, he's looking for his next project. He's got a few. He's looking for a Model A coupe body. I was trying to help him find one. And here's a guy. Now, he's got some skills, but he works at home. Talk to him fairly regular. If he has a weird question about something, he'll give me a shout. Sometimes we just shoot the breeze. But he's got some nice vehicles that he's, over the years, he's fixed them up. He's got a power wagon that's pretty cool. And I think he's been working on another one as of late. But right now, he wants to do a Model A coupe, and they're pretty cool. They made the Model A's from, 28 to 31, but they actually started making Model A in late 1927, like 9th or 10th month of 27. And those first ones that came out were called AR, not just a Model A, it was a Model AR. Some very subtle differences in the brake systems. Mechanical brakes, which is very cool. I've done a lot of Model A's, and I've done a lot of Model A's original restorations. Multi-disc clutch for the early ones. ARs had slightly different fender treatment around. Well, there's just little differences throughout the car. It's not like a Model A in original condition is a massive dollar car, but they're incredibly cool. I've done a lot of them. They made millions of them, so they're not tough to find, unless you go for the special ones. But anyhow, he's looking for a coupe, and they're so easy to chop. I think he'll have a lot of fun with it. Whoops, I got one more here. So I always recommend Model A for someone who's getting started, just because it's pretty straight ahead. And parts are readily available, brand new or second hand. I don't want to let go of this now, because if this fell down, it could scratch up that rad support. And that's not something we want to be part of. Now, it's not exactly easy to get this thing out of here. The bolts, the outside of the heads were basically rivets, so not easy to get apart. But get them out. Okay, almost there. All right. Okay. So these ends, they had like a rivet head on the outside and a nut on the inside. So we got those off. This is in perfect condition, but we need this part, and it's riveted on here in a few spots. There's 4 rivets, so I'm going to drill those out across the back. So this is easy to drill. And then I'm going to attach this really cool piece over here that I've been working on with the camera off. So here is the new piece. Now I'm just going to take this off here. And again, I'm putting all this on so that I have the right width on the hood with the finished pieces I'm using and the right tension. And the latch is in so I can shut it, and Cassidy can do her amazing body work. So this piece, cast aluminum, these parts are bolted on this one. So this is going to sit up in here. Again, I'm going to dry fit it. This is another piece. It's going to be a little tough to put on once it's painted. And also, the original piece comes very close to the hood, and it helps hold the hood up in position. So I'm not a huge fan. You know, I mean, I can put I could put glue in here or foam. I'm going to see if I need it, but I need to put this in, and I need to put in these front braces so I can mount the hood latch and it all works. So we will keep on with this. Right now I'm going to drill off these other pieces. I'll come back in a minute. All right. Okay, so that came off. We saved that for a different project. And I'm going to do some priming on this piece. Okay, we're going to mount this cool cross brace and the hood latch support. We're going to mount this up in the hood now. This will have to come out to paint, of course. Let me see. I mean, there. 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 Okay. So we can start putting bolts back in. Carefully. I don't want to let go of this and have it fall down on the rad support. So, I am curious about people who are working on stuff at home. Some people say it takes so long, and it took them too long. Minimum 5 years. Allow for a minimum of 5 years when you're building your own car at home. And that's minimum. For various reasons. You got to look at the cost. That's spending a lot of money from the domestic budget on parts, depending what kind of vehicle you're building. Time. We all got to make a living. So you're talking about your free time after work, and when you're not engaged in doing everything else that life involves, such as, you know, the lawn, the driveway, and all those things we have to do. So you're talking about free hours that you can just play around on your own car. They're in short supply. So you have to factor that in. If you figure you're going to spend 1,000 hours on your car, and you're going to do it in 5 years, that's 200 hours a year, which, okay, I gotta focus here. Okay, now, wow, it's a lot of shiny stuff. There's my washer, and a tiny little stainless screw, which I'm not crawling inside the engine bay to get right now. So anyhow, as we were saying, if you're going to do 200 hours a year, you say you did 20 hours a month. That's 240 hours a year, which you'd be just doing wildly splendid. So say we did 15 hours a month. That's 150, 180, so 16, 17, say 18, 17 hours a month. That's say 16 hours a month. 2 full days. And it has to be productive hours. It can't be hours where you're hanging out with your buddy explaining the merits of imported beer over domestic, which is perfectly acceptable and a good thing to do. But if you look at the hours, 5 years, to get 1,000 hours is 2 full days, so allow every second Saturday. Now, that's not that bad. That sounds doable, but we're looking at everything else we have to do in life. So I thought that was a great idea with JF, Killer Customs. Teresa and JF have got a great YouTube channel. And they did a 50-50 Camaro. I got to spend a day on it with them. And the idea is you and your buddies, or you, with some volunteer effort, build a car in 50 days. So that's 50 Saturdays, say. And you put together a car for $5,000. So the reason you do that is because you're just making a driver, not making a show car. And so if you get a few buddies showing up, spreads out the load, and it's absolutely doable in a year with a few buddies. So you got to have realistic expectations so you don't take the fun out of it. Because if you grab a car and say, I'm going to be driving it next summer, and then you get disappointed, and it gets frustrating because it never goes as quick as you want it to, it takes freaking fun out of it. So if you want to have a good time, be realistic, allow yourself at least 5 years to build it, and have some fun with it. And if it takes 10 years, who cares? You know the frustrating thing I was talking about? Yeah, these screws are so freaking tiny, and my hands are not piano player hands. Well, actually, I do play piano, but I'm having difficulty holding on to these incredibly tiny screws that some engineers thought would be the perfect thing to hold this on with. And I'm sure he's right, but okay, let's try a different method. Yes, right on. So, also finding a simple car to do. That's why I promoted the Model A, and my friend David Speaks, he's doing one. I mean, he's done a few cars. He's not new to the game. But Model A, easy to find parts, easy to carry on with. It's always a good choice. So if you want to do your own, it's fun. It's better than sitting in a bar. Well, it depends on the bar. No. It's better than sitting in a bar because you're building something that's cool. And even if you decide you need to sell it, it doesn't matter about your labor. You don't get your labor back. You never do because you don't care. You're having a good time. You're creating memories. So you enjoy yourself, have a good time. If you need to sell it at some point, you flog it, and you replace it when you get a chance. The important thing is enjoy it, have a good time. If both halves of the couple enjoy it, that's even better. And not many people like that. It's really cool. So, I guess I will say I'm not really a car guy. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the people I meet. It's a vehicle. Pardon the pun. It wouldn't matter what it was I was doing. The contact you have with people and meeting people who are genuinely into what they're doing. You're going to find they're more interested. You get to listen to someone who's quite passionate about something. That's always cool. Always cool. So, anyhow, I'm babbling, but that's why this car thing is kind of cool, man. Because anyone can do it. Anyone can get into it. Your skill level isn't as critical as some would think. It just depends on where you set your goals at. Don't get unrealistic. And you too can have fun out in the shop building something you think is cool. And it doesn't matter if anybody else does. Okay, so now I'm going to do something that's not that cool. I'm going to crawl around on the floor and look for that one screw that I didn't find. So we have this. What we still have to do is we have to add these. These go up here. But what I'm concerned with on these is I have a feeling they may interfere with the rad support. But not sure. And the ends of these do not be bent in a way that I really like. But that may be on purpose. So, anyhow, I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to crawl around, try to find that last bolt and one flat washer, and then we'll be back. Found it. Okay. Put this in. As I dropped it last time. Okay, I'll fight this one in and then I'll come back. Get these front braces on. There, I think they go. And then we can put the chrome across the front of the hood. Now there's a little cutout on both sides. That'll go up around the latch. Okay. Works out nice. And okay, now this side. And I really don't know if it's going to clear this fancy rad support. If it doesn't, then I'm going to make my own braces. I don't know, I might make them out of stainless or something. But to do the job, and it will clear the rad support. We'll learn more soon. Yeah, I'm a little confused here. There's oh me. Okay, I gotta go get a different bolt. Alright, it is time to put the hood latch on. I just got off the phone with Mettler Machine. If you are doing very many old cars, or part of a club where there's a bunch of people working on cars, look up Mettler Machine and their bead rollers. All their equipment, but I really like the bead rollers. So I've had mine for 20 years. The motor finally went. I was trying to do too heavy a gauge steel. Anyhow, so I had to phone them up, order a new one. And it is on the way, which is good. Wow. Just got to get this bolted on so I can line up the hood with the drill. It's a fun job. Why? Okay. Yeah, goes quite nicely. So what's the issue when I'm hanging upside down? Oh, dag nabbit. Huh. Okay. There's a dent right here. And it's so easy to hammer out when the hood latch is out. So I'm going to drop everything, take that back out, tap that out, because you can see that's really a nasty dip. So I'm going to stop right now, fix that, and then we'll come back and install the chrome, because that's not cool. we're going to try this fancy dolly, old car spring. It's thin enough to get up there without taking everything out. Way more better. As always, I find it easier to bump it out a bit proud and then tap it back down. I mean, it's real good. It won't take much more to make it very good. A little different dolly. Okay, I gotta pry that down something soft so I don't damage the hood some more. There we go. And why am I getting so particular about one little dent at the front of the hood? The front of the hood gets a lot of force on it, gets slammed. This is where the latch is. So you really would like to see no filler at all around that, but that's in a perfect world. Just a little bit. Oh, actually, that's pretty good. So have a look at that. Now you can see that line a little more right there. So I'll take that out, and then we'll have her. And then we can put the grill, the chrome on for the upper. Perfect. Okay. Beauty. Okay, I'll bolt this all back together and then we'll put the chrome on. Okay, we have some success here. Now, we have all the braces on. We haven't completely finished. We're going to go grab a really cool piece of chrome. Wait till you see this. Dig that. Woohoo! Okay, so what's important is that this piece fits perfectly. I'm sure it will, but we have to check, and we have to check after primer, bodywork. This is very much an eye grabber. Now, if we look at that. Okay. I'm gonna show you some things. See under here? Right in the middle there. It's not really touching. And that side's touching. And this side isn't. So, this is the reason. Another fine reason. Yeah, so I get that side to sit down. This side is up, and that's not a big deal. I think I probably need to get this hammered down a bit. That would bring the front down and tighten up some of that gap that's in the middle. So I've got to play with that. And it's like every piece we touch, there is a gasket. It's very thin. But every piece we touch and we're going to put on the car has its own challenges. So I'm going to try, where? It's a tough one. Okay, I'm going to try to dolly down here. Maybe there's a little bit of a high spot there. Just a hair. Now we'll try again to see if we're getting anywhere, but this is all you can do. Just go back and forth, back and forth. It's almost like the thread's hitting something. Okay. Well. Is up quite a bit. So, I mean, I could grind down the chrome, but that wouldn't make anybody very happy. So, I'm going to try to get this part down just a hair. Just a hair, because maybe you can see it from this side. But if you look up, way up in there, you can see daylight through that crack, right? Because it's not fitting tight. That side's down and this side's up. So I'll do some more hammering and dicking around. I'll show you when I get it closer. All right, there you have it. Once I tighten that up, it's golden. So just took a little more tapping at the front. That's good. This is good. So now that's good. I'm going to go find this chrome, I'm going to fit it, and then I'm going to line up the grill. I've been saving that for last, because that's a real pain in the Batuski, I'm quite sure. So far, at least, I'm going to have the hood ready for Cassidy, and I believe that fender. And that'll keep her going while I try to catch up. I'm already behind. Okay, look at these headlight buckets. So I can slip these in. I'm not going to bother with the gaskets. What I need to do is I need to attach these with a couple of screws to make sure that everything fits. And then I can mount the headlight bezel and make sure it fits perfectly in here, right? So I'm just dry fitting it. I'm going to do a little more tapping up here. They do have a gasket that goes between here just to keep water and mud from the tires from coming through this way. So yes, these are very, very nice. New wiring. Just going to see, I'm curious if they fit both sides. Don't think so. Oh, well, I'm wrong. So now I have to look at the adjusters are here and here and see if both bezels are the same. That fits very nice. Yes, it does. Okay. So we'll find a couple of sheet metal screws while there's clips go on here, right? I'm going to put some clips on, just a couple. I might even use small bolts, just so I don't open up the packages of new stuff and lose them. Okay. Okay, so I got the headlight in. Now I fit the bezel, the trim ring. And actually, that's pretty nice. Now, Yes, this is really good. So we can do the body work, but we fit this in the primer. I mean, it fits just right. We don't want this to chip paint when we bolt it on. But I'm actually really happy. That's pretty freaking nice. So I gotta do the other side now. Check it, but what I wanted to show off here is people in the trade tend to want to do. We finally got what we want here. Okay, so we've got a nice gap. The front of the molding is even, right? The front of the molding is even. Our gap is even. We've got our hood mount to fit nice. This is all good. This fits. And now we got this fitting. So this means Cassidy can start body work on this hood. And this panel here. And if I do a little bit more around the headlight, I mean, this is good, but I just want to just grind it a little more. Anyhow, so tomorrow she can do hood, she can start on the fender, and that door's ready and that quarter, and we can rock and roll. So, can happen. Got sidetracked here and there. So, anyhow, we're back on track. And I'm pretty excited. I pick her up in, I don't know, 2-3 hours. And tomorrow we get after it. All right. And I mean, this took a lot of hours, but it was worth it. It has to be done. I had one spot. I had the file. This is nice. Hinges are nice. All that's been protected. This fits nice. Everything is freaking awesome. I am going to fix this fender. I don't like that weld. It's all right, but I'm going to make it a bit nicer. I've got to put the trim on these pieces. Anyhow, then I got to fit the trim on the fenders. Lots of stuff to do, but at least I know Cassidy can go ahead on the hood and the tailgate. So I am ahead of her, just. Should be a great day tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. Cheers.